What's up, guys? Welcome back to Full Tilt Bike Co. And we're going to start this next video off with a bang. Are you ready? What's going on, YouTube? We are back in the studio, coming at you with another video. You know, one of the most frequent questions we get asked all the time here at the bike shop is, what is one of the best upgrades that you can make to your bike?
And hands down, every time our answer is the wheels.
The wheels.
You got to get better wheels, man. It's one of the most long-term good investments that you can have at an affordable price to make your bike perform better.
I mean, if your bike doesn't roll, it doesn't matter how light it is, right? The wheels are the most important part of it. You want something that's smooth, rolls well, and is light. Now, to go with that, we also understand that wheel sets can get pretty expensive, and there's a bunch of different options that you can do between the hubs, the rims, the spokes. So I feel like for a lot of people out there, they're probably confused on where to even start. And I feel like that's going to be kind of the main point of today's video, is kind of outlining how to build a wheel set. So like, what are some of the goals like for this wheel set?
Yeah, one of the most common questions that we do get asked in the shop is, you know, where do you kind of start on a wheel set? Do you start really high? Do you start kind of in a base entry level? It really is more about your preference and your taste, but most people generally want the most performance for the best price, and that's usually what it comes down to. So today we're going to give a couple of options and what the mock-up of a wheel set that performs really well and is very similar to top-of-the-line components, but also has a better budget so that it's more in reach for those that are looking for a good upgrade but not having the full showpiece bike out there.
Yeah, like this wheel set that we're going to talk about today is going to get you like 90% of the way there. You're going to get pretty much everything of a top tier, top price build, but you're going to be able to save some money along the way. And honestly, who doesn't like saving a couple bucks? So I guess with that, let's get straight into kind of our outline of the build, and we will start with the rims.
We've done videos in the past about carbon rims, but it's honestly kind of surprising that we haven't talked about this particular rim, as it is one of our best selling rims here in the shop. The T-squared rims are designed in Australia by Tom Tucker and his dad, Tom Tucker. They have a really good layup process using T700. They come in a good, clean looking shape. They have plenty of customization available, from full colors to carbon weaves, gloss and matte finishes, as well as even painted finishes. And they have a very good durability. We've had a lot of our personal riders on the factory team test these, and we've had plenty of sets go out on customers' bikes that, for the weight and the specs and everything that they line up, this rim ends up being one of the best out there in the field when it comes to all the rims that we sell.
And especially when you're looking at the price as well, because I think that's probably the biggest thing with the T-squareds, is the fact that they do all of this and for that price. And a price of $250 a rim compared to most carbon rims that are coming in at like $400. It's kind of crazy that it's this good of a rim for that money.
Yeah, the tests and all the durability that we've seen throughout the years of selling T-squared, they really line up to be one of the top tier ones, and I personally feel that that's why they sell as good as they do here in the shop. Not to mention they have a lot of big name riders nowadays. Jesse Asmus winning the World Cup, and they've got a solid team going for them. So they're doing a lot of product development, and makes it a solid choice for, you know, someone looking for a great rim at a good price. Yeah, and all of this is not to point out that, you know, the price is the main thing you want to revolve a wheel set around in comparison to performance. This is about, you know, the right wheel set for your budget overall, not just T-squared, but, you know, like the rim that we sell that's very similar to this is, you know, the Speedline Slasher rims that come in at $240 for the price point. They just don't allow you to have the full customization of the colors. They have a lot of really cool colors available, but you know, everybody kind of has their niche group, but, you know, it's not just down to T-squared on what wheel set to build and in the right budget. There's plenty of options. These are just what we have readily available, and we haven't given our buddy Tom Tucker a shout out lately, so we're bringing you guys this video on what wheel set we think is right for your budget and how you might want to go about building that.
I mean, there's a reason that we have so many of these, because people like them. People love all the colors that they come in. Like we said before, they come in a gloss finish, they come in a matte finish. You've got different colored decals. You've even got different weaves too, as well. Like this one that we have right here is kind of like a checkered board weave. And then there's one where you actually can't see any of the carbon weaves. So there's kind of a rim out there for any taste or preference. So, and not even getting into the benefits of carbon rims alone, that's a whole separate video that we could talk about. But when it comes down to this wheel set, we want it to, again, try to get you the most performance while saving some money. And that's why we opted for this specific carbon rim.
So, I mean, now that, we've covered basically all the good sides of a budget friendly wheel set and the options that are out there available for the customers, we're going to do the exact opposite with the hubs, and we're going to talk about the most expensive one, of course. So let's talk about some Onyx.
Yes. Right here, we decided to go with a set of the Onyx Ultra. And then another thing to mention too, we are talking about both building a pro size wheel set, so 36 hole, and then also like expert and below. So towards the end, we'll kind of have a price breakdown of all that. But for the pro size 36 hole, we decided to go with the Onyx Ultra. Yes, you could step it up to the Ultra SS, but the Ultra SS is really built just more for like elite riders. Like we find that like 99% of the BMX population doesn't really need that extra torque to it.
Yeah, I mean, Onyx has plenty of different models for all skill capabilities. That is one of my favorite things about their hub lineup is there's an option for every single racer and rider. And obviously, the more demand you need out of a hub set reflects where the price goes because, the Ultra SS is the most expensive. But, if you don't need all of that performance that an SS has and you just need an Onyx Pro, you're going to get almost $100 off the price just for getting the same mechanism and drive system and all the performance that an Onyx has, but you don't have to have huge bearings. You have full adjustability of the range and the line, and that also helps a little bit with the price. But we harp on the price of them being the best and more expensive, but you really get what you pay for when it comes down to Onyx. I know all the sets that I've had have lasted for multiple years, and you've also been able to have full serviceability, 100% made in the USA. So you got customer service that is top notch, and you can call anytime during the business week and get your stuff checked out and worked on, or you can see your local dealer, Full Tail Bike Co., and we can help you guys out with full serviceability because we carry an array of Onyx products. They really knock it out of the park when it comes down to the hub line, in my opinion. So
yeah, and that's probably one of the biggest things with the hub is, like you said, the serviceability of it. Because there are hubs that are cheaper, but the problem is if something goes wrong with that hub, there's not usually as many replacement parts. So then you have to look at replacing the entire hub set. So the Onyx in this certain situation would be more money up front, but if you had an issue with your Onyx later down the line, it's going to be a lot cheaper to replace the bearings in your current Onyx set than it is to have to buy a completely new, cheaper hub set, get that wheel rebuilt, new spokes, all that stuff. So this is really more of an investment. Side note, this is their current color of the month. I believe it's Lambo Green, right? Onyx is doing a special thing this year where every single month they're going to be dropping a new color. Similar to the T-Squareds, if not even more. Onyx has so many different colors. You can customize almost every single piece of this hub down to the little widgets. Like you can change the colors of these as well. Pretty much a style for any type of build or whatever you're looking to go for. So, and that's probably the coolest part about this wheel build that we are putting together today is that, again, you're saving a little bit of money, but there's also a lot of different options for customization. So you're not stuck with, okay, I want to save some money, but I've got to just do black. Like I've got no other choice. So at least here you can really kind of spec it out to however you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different options that you can do for, a relatively easy or cheaper price. Onyx will custom color widgets and hub shells for like a total of $30, I think, is the overall charge. So
So now that we covered the 36 hole option of the Onyx, we should also talk about our recommendations for 28 hole. You can also look in between the Onyx Ohms or the Onyx Pros. So in what situation would you push someone more towards the Ohms versus would you push someone more towards like the 28 hole Pro?
somebody in the age or weight range of like 125 pounds and below, or anybody that has 10 and under, I'm gonna go ahead and push them towards a set of ohms because they are so much lighter than the pros. The shell is completely machined down. It doesn't have near as thick of outer flanges as your traditional pro hubs do. And then the bearings are also a little bit thinner in diameter, so they don't take up as much weight. It shaves a lot of weight off, but you still get the same strength as like a pro hub does. The clutch inside of it is a little bit smaller, so you're also going to have a little bit less drag, and just you don't need all of the strength backing designs that they put in the bigger hubs, the pros and up. So when you're in an ohm hub, it's a little bit smaller in all portions, and it saves you a bunch of weight, but you still get the same performance.
It's like more optimized for your rider's size. It's like more of what they need.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the smallest hub that they make, so that's kind of what it was designed for. But
Really?
I mean,
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then it kind of sounds like if you were to go, like, let's say that you bought a pro hub for your smaller rider, you're almost like kind of overbuying a hub, but in that situation, you'd be more making an investment for the future. So it'd be a hub that they could ride for longer as they grow and get bigger and they pass that weight limit.
yeah, it's like putting a 1-ton transmission on a Prius type deal. You gotta not a ton of power that's going to really run that thing out, but at the same time, you are still going to get the same benefit, but it's also overall going to weigh the whole package down. So you got to really
Make that decision there. What do you want to do?
Make the decision on if you want the long haul durability or do you want the upfront performance that you're going to get out of having the smaller ohm hub.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's cheaper, so save the cash.
The ohm hub is.
The ohm hub is cheaper.
The ohm hub's cheaper. Yeah. And then
Altogether, sold as a set or singularly, the ohm hubs are just a little bit cheaper, even with the ceramic bearings. But yeah, now that I think we're done being supporting local business over here, Minnesota on Minnesota, I am curious, Jonnie. I've never ran a set of Profile Elites on one of my personal bikes, so I don't know a ton about the performance. I only know what comes out of the wrenching area as far as working on the hubs and serviceability, and everything's relatively good over there. But, compared to like an Onyx hub, what, could somebody get a set of Profile Elites and what could they expect from, the profile side of things? Because that's obviously one of our biggest questions is, Profile or Onyx, or some people have good, some people have bad with both of the brands. Some people really like both products. But yeah, I'm curious on your take on what Onyx versus Profile, and where does the Profile line up with Onyx?
And I think the Profile Elites would be are great competition to the Onyx hubs. Obviously, there's different variances because it's a different drive mechanism. The last set that I rode was like the original Profile Elite, so I haven't gotten a chance to test out their new. I believe it's the AC2 or something like that.
AC2.
I haven't gotten a chance to test out that model, but the biggest thing when going back and forth in between the two was the Onyx just felt slightly sharper in most areas, right? Like the Profile Elites give really good engagement, but it's not instant engagement. And then even with like the rolling, like the Profile Elites were fast, but it didn't feel the same as like a broken in Onyx hub. And when I say broken in, like a well-ridden Onyx hub, like the bearings are broken in, right? So
yeah, but that's also something good.
Yes,
right?
yes,
In a Profile hub, you want that feel to always be there, because that means that your springs and your pawls are engaging good. From what I've seen taking them apart, if you ever have a Profile hub that's spinning too freely, then you got a problem on your hands.
Yeah, and that was going to be the next thing I was going to get into. What I do like more about the Profile hub was I felt it was less barrier to entry to like fixing my own hub, right? Like the Onyx, it is possible for you to fix it, but it's kind of a complex system.
Yeah.
Whereas the Profile was more intuitive. So like it was easier for me to like take my hub apart, replace my springs, do all of that stuff, and it was a lot quicker. I didn't need as many like specialty tools. So that was a really nice part about the profiles, was the fact that it was really easy to work on and do the stuff myself. Now that I work at a bike shop, like the Onyx feels easier to me because I have more experience with it. But yeah, the Onyx is definitely harder to work on yourself. So if you do need something done with them, it's usually best suggested to just send them off to Onyx to get it done.
Yeah.
So
The profile to Onyx comparison is just one of the biggest questions that I always get. So it's definitely a lot better to have two different opinions and options for everybody to see what works better. And it totally makes sense. You know, profiles have been around a lot longer than Onyx, so
they know what they're doing.
Their designs are developed, originally from 30 years or 40 years of experience, however long they've been in business. Gus and the guys over there, they know what's going on. But Jim and the boys, they've got a great design, and everything that they're doing, they're always on the leading edge of what's coming next. So great choice either way, in my opinion. But just make sure you guys choose what's best for you and what's best for your budget.
Yeah, and you definitely wouldn't be hurting yourself by swapping this hub set out for profile. And if anything, you'd be saving a little bit more money too. So again, still going to be a quality wheel set, still going to be a great hub. But it's just kind of picking and choosing those little things. So yeah, I guess we will now move on to spokes and nipples, right?
Yeah, I mean, spokes and nipples, I've already done quite the deep dive at this table myself on spokes and nipples. So I'll let you run the ship on kind of what everybody might want to choose and where they're at, and then I'll just highlight on your different lacing patterns. But if you really want to check out the full deep dive on what spokes are good, what spokes are bad, make sure you click the link in the top down below place here.
It'll be somewhere around here.
It's going to be in the clip here, so make sure you click the link below and check out that video as well. So
Yes.
when it comes down to spokes, what would you build if you were building a quality wheel set, but closer to a budget area?
Yeah. For this wheel set, I think the obvious choice is going to be double butted. Double butted is something that I've ran on all of my wheel sets personally. I believe it's the perfect middle ground spoke, and basically what a double butted spoke is, just a brief overview, it's thicker at the ends and then thinner in the middle. So that allows it to save a little bit of weight per spoke, and then you multiply that across 72 spokes, and you're going to get a somewhat significant weight savings. It's also a bit cheaper than titanium spokes. Titanium is going to be the most elite option, but it's almost a whole dollar more per spoke. Makes for a pretty significant price difference. So can't go wrong with double butted. That's why we're suggesting that one here. And then in terms of nipples, I mean, really just alloy nipples, right? No need to overcomplicate that there. It's not really anything else that you have to do. So alloy nipples there, double butted spokes. And yeah, I know that you've ran tie spokes for a little bit. Did you notice a difference in performance with your tie spokes, or did they kind of feel the same, or like what was it with you when you put a tie spoke wheel together?
I mean, when I put it together, the lacing portion of putting tie spokes together is a little bit easier as far as, when you're actually spinning the nipples onto the spokes. The threads seem to cut a little bit better on our cutter for some reason with titanium spokes, just because it's a higher or it's a more fragile material, so it cuts a little bit deeper rather than steel. It kind of rolls the material over. Same spoke deposition, but titanium cuts a little bit easier. So when I'm actually lacing tie spokes, I would rather lace tie spokes than steel spokes. But as far as having spokes in my wheels, I'm gonna be a double butted guy. I kind of always have been a regular steel spoke. I've had really good luck with double butted black spokes in the past. You true them and tension them at a little bit lower KGF on your tensiometers. So in my opinion, you have less chances to snap a spoke because you're not running super high tension, but you're still getting the same true and build as a set of titanium wheels do. And you're also saving a little bit of cash. And if you know me, I like to save cash. So.
Save the cash.
Save the cash.
You can go titanium. It will be lighter, but again, if you're trying to cut costs somewhere, that's a great spot to look to to shave down the price a couple dollars. So can't go wrong either way. Okay, so now that we've kind of walked you through the majority of the wheel build, actually pretty much the whole wheel build, let's start talking numbers, right? That's what everyone's here for. They're here to talk about the numbers.
Let's
So
talk about the numbers.
just to kind of quote these packages that we showed you, we'll start off with a 36 hole. So if you're looking to do T squared, front and rear, double butted spokes, alloy nipples with a set of Onyx Ultra and the Helix front 20 mil, you'd be looking at about $1,300 in cost for the wheel build, and that also includes that front through axle as well. So definitely gets you below that 1.5K price mark, and I think $1,300 is a really good value for what you're getting, especially if you're buying a 36 hole wheel set. Like, this is a wheel set that will last you for many years, and really the only thing that you would ever have to do in the future is maybe do a bearing replacement every now and then, and you've got a set that'll transfer from bike to bike to bike. So
Yeah, this is, I mean, a 36 hole Onyx wheel set with, double butted stainless steel spokes. That's going to be, what I like to call the last wheel set given by dad. So after that, you're cut off. This is all that you get. But I think you're going to get the most life out of it, and you're also going to get the best resale value out of, the wheel set that Jonnie just described. So right in that ballpark, give or take some different components that you couldn't add. Your lace up strength and performance is going to be relatively all the same throughout the components. The only thing that can fluctuate is the price, depending on whatever components you decide to choose. So
yeah, if you wanted to add tie spokes, or if you wanted to go with a custom color option with the Onyx hubs, that's going to fluctuate a little bit with your price. But that's kind of the general ballpark of what you'd be looking at for a 36 hole wheel set for your pro size riders. So moving over to the 28 hole, whether you went ohms or pro, again, that's going to add a little bit of variance, but you'd be looking in the ballpark of around $1,100 for that wheel set. And again, that's double butted spokes, carbon rims, and your choice of Onyx hubs. And kind of same thing there, another high quality wheel set. You get the carbon fiber rims, you get the benefits of that. And again, you're barely over $1,000 for a wheel set.
Yeah, especially with carbon. Everybody always wonders a lot of what the advantage, obviously, with the weight, and then the durability. You get a really, really good wheel set, something that's going to last. And, compared to some other options, you're going to get something that is also, worth the resale value too. That's one of the biggest things that we see at a lot of the races is people hanging parts on the fences and, combating with the bike shops out there. But the used parts section holds its value. I will say that. So, like we have kind of gone with the whole theme of this video is, build a wheel set that is respectable and in your budget, but at the same time build one that is going to last and something that somebody might want down the road. So
the last thing you want to do is skimp out on it, and then a couple months later you got to
don't
buy
get
a
the
whole
performance. And
you're not happy with your wheel set, and you got to buy a whole new hub or whatever it is. You have to buy a whole new one within a couple months. So yeah, I mean it's technically a lot of money for a lot of people, but it's worth it. Just spend it right the first time, right? Okay, let's get into a little bit of a bonus, right? So you kind of hinted at it before. You just got your wheel set built. You were able to save a little bit of money. You got really good performance. We can't not talk about the tubes and the tires, right? So what would be some of the options that you would recommend to go with this best value for the money wheel set?
Power blocks.
No, that's what I got about. So yeah.
Power blocks and tubulitos. All day. I think the price that you're going to spend on, what some people will call an overinflated tube type deal is going to save you the weight right up front that you could have saved with going with like the lightest rim. Or
it's going to save you more than 4 ounces.
Yeah. It's going to save you a lot. A lot. Yes, tubulitos and polyurethane tubes are a lot more expensive, but in retrospect, they really do last. I mean, you get a once every 2-3 months, someone comes in with a bad one or something that didn't work right from the shop. But as far as the the rest of them, all the ones that we sell, they end up working really well. And you see a lot more of them on everybody's bikes now. You see the orange valves from Tubolitos rolling around, or like Blue Tech's new tube is really quality. And it's actually, I believe, a little bit lighter than the Tubolitos.
That new offering's cool.
I think between polyurethane tubes and then a good foldable tire, I'm just an OG power block guy no matter what.
Same here.
The tread pattern and the sidewall durability and performance out of this Tioga tire is just unmatched in my opinion. We do sell a lot of the Faster X, Faster Black Label models that provide a little bit less drag, but
and higher tire pressures too with the Black Label.
Yeah, and higher tire pressures, but I'm just not going that fast nowadays. So I'm going to stick with power blocks and keep my grip around the corners, but still have a really good tire that has been trusted by the industry for a long time now. So
yeah, I mean the power block's great because I feel like it's a really solid hybrid tire. It's got the smooth rolling for the asphalt turns, but it's also got a bit of bite to it for when you get to those dirt turns. Think about Grands, one of the biggest races of the year, and that's one of the things that I really like about the power block is that it's kind of like a set it and forget it tire. Plus, also not to mention, I mean this tire is almost 10 years old. It might be over 10 years old, and it's still the lightest foldable tire on the market.
The lightest.
Yeah.
Don't listen to this guy.
No, it actually is. You can look it up. The Tioga Power Block, especially the 6.0, is the lightest tire. It's the lightest offering from Tioga. But yeah, and along with that, you know, this could be its all own separate video, folding versus steel bead. But you know, if you're getting carbon rims and you're doing double butted spokes and you're trying to save weight, especially if you're getting Tubolitos as well, you're gonna want to go with a folding tire. Folding means that it's got a Kevlar bead and it can literally fold. That tire is gonna be a little bit lighter. It's gonna cost a bit more, but like we said, with that money that you're saving by making these choices we outlined today, it gives you a little bit more wiggle room to buy nicer tires, buy nicer tubes. And I think that's kind of the main message of this video is, you know, there are certain regions where it's worth to go the extra mile and spend more money. And then there's also other regions where you start to get diminishing returns. And tubes and tires is one of those areas where you also want to invest in good stuff, especially if you have a good wheel set.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's going to be, you know, in your tire is going to be where more of your performance lies, in my opinion. At the end of the day, is you're going to have the most noticeable performance out of what tire you put on your bike. So make sure you choose the right components and don't skimp out on the things that really do affect the way that you ride and your actual speed around the track. But at the same time, know the differences between, you know, what spokes, nipples, parts that you can, you know, maybe cut some corners on or get the same value out of another product, but spend the money on something that, you know, you're going to actually gain performance out of. So,
yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much all that we've got for you guys today. Hopefully you're able to learn a little bit more about how to build your own wheel set. Obviously, with us being a bike shop, we build wheels too. So feel free to reach out to us with any questions, concerns, or even if you're looking to build a wheel set, feel free to give us a call. We'd be happy to walk you through the process and kind of talk to you about even more options that are available. You know, this is just one scenario, but there's other scenarios that different wheel sets would be better. So again, feel free to reach out to us and we can walk you through where to go next with it. But yeah, you got
that's
any
about
more?
it. Yeah. No. Make sure you hit up fulltailbike.com where we're the dealer for all the parts that you've seen in this video and multiple other options. Give Jonnie a call. Give Race a call here at the shop.
Third person. Like, comment, subscribe as always.
Yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see some more and gain some more knowledge about wheels and different products on the spectrum.
And keep letting us know what you guys want to see. I've been reading some of the comments, and I do appreciate you guys letting us know. We are listening to you, and we've got some of those videos planned and on the way. But yeah, definitely keep letting us know what it is that you guys want to see us do next.
And for now, we're going to wrap up this podcast with a bang. Fulltailbike.com.
Bye.